Sekhmet, the desert, heart, fire.
Amhotep, everyone, it's Sekhmet Nenek. I know, it's been a long time since I've made a video. Just keep your eyes peeled, because perhaps I'll be making more regular videos. Today I actually wanted to revisit a topic. It's a topic that I talked about on one of my old channels, but that video is kind of bleh, so I'm going to remake one. It's on the topic of the rite of parent divination. Now, for those of you who aren't Kemetic Orthodox, or who don't know much about the Kemetic Orthodoxy, the rite of parent divination is a geomantic divination that divines who your divine parents and beloveds are. Now let's break that down for a second. Geomantic divination is a divination system in which an item, in this case shells, are cast, and the pattern that they lay and the way that they fall in accordance to each other divines a result. This specific geomantic divination was developed and is performed by the current Nisut, Ankujasaneb, of the Kemetic Orthodoxy, Tamara Suda. She's the only one in the Kemetic Orthodoxy that can do this. Your divine parents are the names of nature, the gods or goddesses, that created your Ba, your eternal soul. And the beloveds are gods that take a special interest in your life for some reason. And you can have one or two parents, just kind of like in real life. Yeah, and you can have, I think the most that we've seen is 5 beloveds, but I don't know if that's actually a strict limit. I think you probably could have more if you really were going to. And it's the primary rite of passage that is underwent during your transformation into Kemetic Orthodoxy. It's essentially your kind of birth into the community. It's kind of like your initiation ceremony, if you will. When you finish that, you can either stay on as a divine remech, meaning you underwent your divination but are just a friend of the faith, or you can become a Shemsu, which is a full convert to the Kemetic Orthodoxy. And I'm going to talk about my experiences, and actually to do this, I have my boyfriend, Mr. Manemaset, on the phone with me, and he's going to be asking me some questions. So why don't you introduce yourself, Manem?
Hello. How's everybody? Great.
So, let's commence the interview.
Alright. So, Mr. Nene, what exactly made you decide to undergo the RPD?
I really wanted to undergo the RPD because I felt like I just had to know. I wanted to know who my spiritual parents were and who my beloveds were. It felt like it was something I needed to know to learn more about myself, and to also figure out where I relate, not only in the community, but in my Kemetic spirituality as a whole.
Alright, so what relationships with Netru did you have prior to undergoing the RPD?
Well, I had a very, very strong connection to Sekhmet, obviously, who ended up being my mom, and I have a very strong connection with Set. I had some run-ins with Nebethet, and also with Sobek and Maahes, but outside of that, I really didn't have too many pre-existing relationships.
So, I assume, like, out of those names and others, which name or names did you expect to show up in your divination?
My ideal lineup was that I was going to be a son of Sekhmet and Set, and beloved of maybe Wasir, Khnum, Maahes, the Sirkat, Nebethet, Sobek. There's a whole variety, but I was really gearing towards having 2 parents, Sekhmet and Set, and at least having Sobek as a beloved.
So with all of that, how exactly did you feel only coming on the RPD with 1 parent and 1 beloved?
So at first, I was kind of like, oh, wow, busted. Like, I had only 1 parent, 1 beloved, and I had no male names at all. And I was kind of thinking to myself, you know, in this kind of pre-existing Wiccan concept that I had, oh man, what's this mean that I have no gods in my lineup? But, I've kind of definitely settled down about it when I realized that my beloved is actually like a 3-in-1, and that my parent is actually a 2-in-1. So it's kind of like I got 5 names, but I got it for the price of 2.
Alright. So how exactly did you feel, like, during the RPD, like your RPD divination, and as you were learning who your parent and beloved was?
So I did my RPD via Yahoo. So I was sitting down in front of my computer, and I was shaking. I was so nervous when I was undergoing the RPD. And when Hemet stepped away to do the Aku divination, which is the first divination, I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, this won't be something like amazing or super or anything like that, because I didn't have a very good relationship with my Aku before. And she came back and she told me about the divination, and I was literally in tears because of who she said came forward and what the message was. It was really relevant to my life. And Hemet asked me who I thought who I thought showed up, before she told me who my parent and my beloved was. And I was so nervous, but I said, I think Sekhmet, but that's all I'm going to guess right now. And when she actually said that it was Sekhmet, I made the most ridiculous noise. It sounded like a pig going into labor. I was so excited.
So obviously you weren't surprised when Sekhmet showed up, but were you surprised by Neptet out of all the other relationships that you're going with other names? Why or why not?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised about Nebethet. I was not surprised by Sekhmet. I was overjoyed about Sekhmet, but I was really surprised by Nebethet. She popped by one time, ironically enough, when I was in the shower. I had an experience with Nebethet, as awkward as that may be. But she just kind of went away. It was very silent afterwards, so I just assumed that she wasn't going to show up. I'm happy she showed up. I think she has a lot to teach me, and I think I have a lot to learn from her. But I was still stunned.
Alright, so you have relationships with both of those names before your RBD. So how did they change after the divination? Did your relationships grow and change?
Yeah, I would say that with Sekhmet, my relationship got more intense and deepened a lot. I know before I was acknowledging her as my mother, and I called her my mother. But after it was kind of confirmed in this way, she really stepped up and started to take me more under her wing and push me a little bit harder, and I really appreciate that, actually. With Nebethet, it's been really funny. She is such a quiet name, and I think that's how she always is with people. But I definitely kind of feel her guidance at little things, just little nudges. Never anything like shouting like Sekhmet, but little nudges here and there that kind of tell me, oh, I should be doing this, or oh, maybe I should be going down that path. And that's really been what's been going on. They've taken a lot more active role in my life.
What do you think the fact that Sekhmet and Neptet are in your lineup kind of mean to you and how they interact as your parent and your beloved?
Yeah, with Sekhmet, it's really funny. I want to be a nurse. I would like to be an emergency room nurse. And I really feel like she pushes me to do the best I can as far as my healthcare careers are concerned. Obviously, I'm a phlebotomist now, and during my clinicals, I was feeling like I was like being guided by her and making it better for the patients and also making it a better experience for me. With Nebethet, I feel like a lot of that comes in where my emotional support capabilities come in. I feel like she's really trying to teach me and instruct me on how to be better emotional support. Maybe even for patients. Maybe they actually are kind of teaming up for like a healthcare double dose, because, you know, obviously if I'm an emergency room nurse, I'm going to have to relay some really hard news sometimes to families, and maybe she'll be helping me and guiding me when I'm delivering that bad news to make it the softest it can be.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap this up, how would you say that your spirituality as a whole, your spiritual practice and such has been impacted by your divination, and how it's evolved since then?
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost a year since my divination. It'll be a year coming up at the end of August. And in that time, it's been really funny. I've had a lot of spiritual conflict going back and forth between maybe Asatru and the Kemetic Orthodoxy, kind of back and forth. But the whole time I still had Sekhmet first, for sure. I feel like because of this kind of waywardness of it all, coming up on a year, I feel much more grounded now. I feel like I've really kind of found my place. I think that my relationship with the other people in the community, the other Shemsu, has really been integral in expanding and strengthening my spirituality. And right now I'm working on currently reorganizing my shrine space and cleaning up the area around it so that I can really have a functioning shrine, because it's been a while since I've done a Senut or anything like that. So I'm working on that right now. I feel like I have a big push for that.
Alright, well, that's all I have.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up now, people. So if you have any other questions relating to the RPD, post them in the comments below. I always appreciate messages and comments and questions. If you have any questions about the House of Netcher, the Kemetic Orthodoxy, you can go to www.kemet.org or www.netcher.org and interact with us and learn more. And until next time, Seneb to y'all. Bye.